Hello everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar today. My name is Joydeep Biswas, Senior Developer at Kavo. I will be covering how to publish and share best practice cloud deployments. Kavo's iMod is a web portal. The URL is this imod.kavo.com, open in my browser. In the past, we have done a number of webinars covering how to sign up, set up provider accounts, how to create systems, deploy them, and manage them. And you can access those webinars and other guides and tutorials at our wiki, which is at wiki.kavo.com. And you can go to the webinars link and you can access all the webinars we have done in the past. And also you can access guides and tutorials that are available for example, setting up a provider account, or if you want to view a number of short videos that we have recorded, you can also access them from here. But in today's webinar, we will not cover those topics. So today's webinar is for demonstrating how to publish and share best practice cloud deployments. I have created a number of iMod user accounts for demonstrating this. I will log in now using the first account, which is called Webinar 1. In iMod, all the information for deploying and managing applications are captured in a single XML file referred to as a system definition file. And this is an example of a system definition file that is open in my window. System definition files contain all the information required, and that means it includes cloud service accounts and also account-specific information. For example, in this system definition XML, you can see this element AWS account, which specifies the Amazon EC2 account to use. Then this is for security group. This is for specifying the CPR. So this is the account, and these are the account-specific information. So the system definition file for a configured system contains all this information. But the problem here is these information are user specific. That means one user may be using one AWS account, some other user will be using a totally different cloud service account. It can be Amazon, it can be Rackspace or whatever. So to share this system with other users, what we have to do is we have to clear this account information, and so that if somebody else uses them, then they can configure their account information into the system definition file and use it. And when we share these systems with other users, we create templates from systems. So instead of sharing systems directly, we create templates from the systems and share those templates with others. And by default, every user can access a number of templates already provided by Kavo. There are around 20 such templates, and in this table you can see all these templates, and all of them have the owner field Kavo. So these are Kavo templates. These templates are provided by Kavo, and you can use, that means any user can use them. But if you want to create your own template, and if you want to publish that template and share that template with other users, then you have to do that yourself. And in today's webinar, I will demonstrate to you how exactly to do that. So I have already one application deployed. We do not create templates from scratch. What we do is we create a system and we create a template from a system so that we don't have to go through the laborious process of writing the XML manually to create a template. So I already have the PHP AWS system deployed. What I will do is I will create a template from this system. And how to do that? We have to go to the definition tab for the selected system, and there is this button, create template. Here there are two fields, the name field and the description field. In the name field, you specify the name of the template. This is the name by which the template would be uniquely identified, and you can specify maximum 80 characters for the name field. Then is the description field. This is some description that you may want to put for this template, and maximum 200 characters are allowed for writing a description field. So let me give it a name by PHP AWS v2, and let me give it a very simple description, say test. Now if I hit the create button, a template will be created from this system. It gave me the message that the template has been successfully created, and you can see in the system it does have the account specific information here. So let me go to the templates table. It still shows there are only 19 templates. Actually, you have to hit the refresh button to get the currently available list of templates. Now you can see there are 20 templates available. And the one just I created a moment ago is appearing here. And you can see that the process has automatically cleared the account and account specific information from the template. Now this template is a private template for me. Only I have access to this template. Any other iMod user would not be able to access this template. And we can see that by logging in using a different user ID. The current one was webinar 1, and I will log in using webinar 2. You can see there are only 19 templates here. So the template I created as webinar 1 is not visible or accessible to the user webinar 1. So what I have to do now is manage permissions to the newly created template. And let me go back to my first user ID where I created the template. Select the template and bring up this manage permissions form. You can see there is a table at the bottom, and this table lists all the user IDs that have that are allowed access to this template. And you can see there is only one entry here, webinar 1, that is my current user ID. So only webinar 1 has access to this template, and webinar 1 is also the owner of this template because this is the user that created the template. Now, if I want to selectively allow permission to say webinar 2, another user, then I have to type the user ID in this field and then hit this button, allow template permission. Now you can see there are 2 entries in the table. So now both webinar 1 and webinar 2 are allowed access to this template. So to verify that, I will log off from webinar 1 and log in as webinar 2. You can see now there are 20 templates. And this is the template that was created by webinar 1 and webinar 2 was allowed access to. Now let me log in as webinar 3 and see if this template is available. No, this template is not available and it should not be because webinar 3 was not allowed access to this template. Only webinar 1 was allowed access to this template. That means as of now, the template that was created by webinar 1, only 2 users have access to. That is webinar 1 itself and webinar 2 because webinar 2 has been explicitly allowed permission to. Now let me see how to revoke a permission. To select the template and bring up this manage permissions form. Now there are 2 allowed user IDs to this template, webinar 1 and webinar 2. Webinar 2 I want to revoke permission to. So I select webinar 2 and I hit the revoke template permission button. And as you can see, only webinar 1 is allowed access to this template, and webinar 2's permission was just revoked. Now I will verify that by logging off and logging in as webinar 2. There are 19 templates here, so the template is not showing up in the list of templates accessible to webinar 2. Now the next thing, I just demonstrated how to create a template from a system and how to allow permission to a single user. But if I want to publish this template to all the users of iMod, how to do that? That is very simple too. You have to follow the same process. Just select the template and bring up the manage permissions form and hit this button, allow permission to everyone. So now you can see there is an extra entry called star. And star means everyone. That means this template has been published to all the users of the iMod application. You can see I logged in as webinar 1, webinar 2, though explicitly permission has not been allowed to webinar 2, still there are 20 templates, and this template is appearing in the list of templates accessible to webinar 2. That means that specific template has been published to all the users. I can also log in as webinar 3. And you can see it is appearing in webinar 3 list as well. That means if any user logs into iMod, they will be able to see this template. Let me go back to webinar 1. Now let us consider a scenario where you have published a template in the past, but now you have decided not to make the template public, I mean not to keep the template public. You want to reset the template permission to default. That means the template permission that was when it was created. That means only the owner, that means webinar 1, was allowed access to it. So how to do that? Just bring up the window, and then there is this button, reset permissions. If you hit the reset permission button, the permission for this template would be reset to default. Default means only the owner is allowed access to this particular template. Now only one user has access to this template, that is webinar 1. If I log in as webinar 2, I will not be able to see the template here in this table. And same goes for other users. Now if I want to delete this template, I can do that by hitting this delete template button. It will delete the template from the database and would not be accessible to any of the users. So I select this template and hit delete template. And the template is deleted. Now the question is, suppose I create a template and I allow permission to this template to some other user. Would that user be able to delete the template? The answer is no. So let us see what happens if I create a template and allow permission to the template to some other user. That user tries to delete it. So let me create the template from this system another time. refresh the list. Bring up this window. Allow permission to webinar 2. Log out from here and log in as webinar 2. Select this template and try to delete it. It says not authorized to delete the template. That means only the owner can delete a template that was created by that person. And also, if I want to manage permissions for this template, a template that I did not create, it will give me the same message. Not authorized to view permissions. That means after a template is created, only the owner can delete the template or modify permissions to it. Nobody else can do it. So there is a question from somebody has asked how to edit a template. Okay, so that's a good question. So we do not directly allow people to edit a template. For example, the user cannot just select the template and go change the code here. It is not allowed. I mean, even if in the code window the XML can be edited, it cannot be saved. So the templates cannot be directly edited. And there is a reason why we do not allow this, because as is the XML file, it is not recommended to manually edit this file because some errors may be introduced and the XML may not be a valid one. There may be other problems, for example, some elements that do not exist or reference to some other component in the same XML file is inserted which is not valid. For example, from within an event you may refer to an action, but it may so happen that the action does not exist. If you manually edit actions and events, you may make such mistakes. So you are referring to an action that does not exist. But if you do it in the proper way, I mean edit the template by creating a system from it, then this problem does not occur. So when you edit a template, you do not go and directly change that template code, and it is not also allowed, so you cannot do that. So when you want to edit a template, what you have to do is first create a system from that template, and if you create a system from the template, you can use a number of user interface wizards available for the system to edit it. And I will demonstrate to you how to do that. So let us take this template here. So I want to edit this template. For say I want to delete this event here. There is an event in the template app here overloaded. Let me edit that this template so that this event does not occur there. I want to simply put, I want to delete this event. So how to do that? To do that, what I have to do is I have to create a system from this template. Let me call it template. Let me try deleting this one. Try this on a simpler system. So just created a fresh template. The previous template got modified in the code window, and it was done manually. That's why while deploying it, it's giving an error. So let me try to delete the system cleanup event from this template. So let me create a system from this. Configure the system. And when the template is deployed as a system, you have access to wizards and user interface elements. Using that, you can edit the system or the XML very easily. For example, to delete the system scale-up event using this user interface, all I have to do is click this button. So the system scale-up event is selected here. I just hit remove event. And I open the XML, and I can see first event was system scale up. I just removed it. So now the first event is system scale down. So I did not have to manually edit the XML. So I use the user interface to do that. The next thing would be to create a template from this system. Let me call it S0 V3. The template was successfully created. This is S0 V3. This is the template. And it does not have the system scale up event. So in this way, we have edited the first template that was S0 V2 to get S0 V3. And what we had to do is create a system from the template, use the user interface and wizards available for systems to edit the system, and then create a template from that. And this way it is very easy to edit a template. And when I was trying to edit the first template, there were errors because I tried to manually change some XML there. Though I could not save it because they was not allowed. But when I tried to deploy a system from it, there was some error. That means manually editing a template is not a good idea. So we have to use the user interface and widgets so that we do not make any mistakes in the process. So let's see if there are any more questions. Looks like there are no more questions. So this brings us to the end of the webinar. I hope everybody understood the thing I tried to demonstrate well. And please let us know how you enjoyed the webinar to support@kahoo.com. And also please try to view our previous webinars so that if there anything that you do not understand that has been covered in a previous webinar, you can view that webinar first, then come to this webinar. And after this webinar, we will send you all the recording of this webinar so that you can watch the webinar anytime you want to do offline. So thanks everybody for attending the webinar.